Well, so CBD is actually one of those big gray areas right now. Lawyers are currently trying to figure out, because of the Farm Bill, states are able to produce hemp, but the CBD laws vary state by state. And, the DEA recently came out with guidance saying that they believe that CBD is still illegal because it is a cannabinoidal substance.
Lauren, what's your take, particularly on that banking point of view and the difference between the Canadian rules and the US rules?
Well, regarding banking and investing in U.S. cannabis companies, there's definitely increased risk here because if you're working with companies that are unbanked, you're going to have increased security concerns. There's going to be issues monitoring the cash flow. So when you look at these large Canadian companies who do have access to banking and some U.S. companies that are banking in Canada, it definitely reduces your risk as an investor to have access to banking.
What do you tell investors, Sarah, in the U.S. that want to get into the cannabis business in Canada or here? What do they need to know?
Yeah, so certainly I think that it's a safer investment in Canada, as earlier stated, because it is federally legal there. Whereas here in the U.S., since cannabis, despite state-by-state legalization, is still federally illegal, the SEC actually earlier this month came out with guidance kind of reminding investors of the fact that cannabis is federally illegal and that investors, these companies could face federal prosecution for that. And so I think certainly a safer investment right now is in these ancillary cannabis markets.
Lauren, when you look at the sort of run-up we've seen in the stock prices or just generally in the interest in this sector, do you feel like it's fully taking into account the risks that are still attached with investing in this area?
Well, the valuations are extremely high right now, and there's still a lot of speculation. It's a new market, and supply and demand haven't stabilized. Demand is forecasted to continue increasing. We don't know if legal supply will be able to keep up. So there's a lot of contingencies and a lot of risk here. So,
what sort of regulations, Sarah, should we be looking for here in the U.S.? I mean, is anything? It feels like we're moving in a direction, but I'm not sure that's happening at the federal level. So what should we be watching for to that regard?
Sure. So at the beginning of this year, I really thought, and I think a lot of people in this industry were really worried because Attorney General Jeff Sessions had rescinded the Cole memo, which basically was guidance stating that the federal government would have a policy of non-interference with states that had legalized. So that certainly made us nervous when that guidance was rescinded. However, I think 2018 really ended up being quite a banner year in terms of federal legalization. We saw a lot of legalization bills get introduced on the federal level, as well as a lot of lawmakers come out in support of federal legalization.